White people have always eaten their boogers, and history proves it. White societies love to project images of cleanliness, sophistication, and manners. But peel back the powdered wigs and Pinterest kitchens, and you'll find a different tradition entirely. Booger eating. Not just a childhood habit, not just a silly phase, but a historically normalized, quietly accepted, shockingly unaddressed behavior deeply embedded in white cultural development. While other civilizations developed intricate systems of hygiene, ritual cleanliness, and public shame around such behavior, white societies looked the other way, if not directly indulged. Medieval Europe had no concept of hygiene. Blowing noses? That was optional. In medieval Europe, there were no tissues, no handkerchiefs, no designated customs around nasal care. Bodily fluids were treated casually. Spitting, urinating, defecating, and yes, even picking and eating boogers happened openly. While Chinese, African, and Islamic civilizations had clear hygienic codes, including ritual cleansing of the nose, white Europeans lacked both the infrastructure and the discipline. Nobility and peasants alike were guilty. Accounts from the time don't even register nose picking as improper. It wasn't even worth mentioning, which tells you how normalized it was. In elite courts and among peasants alike, fingernail excavation was common practice, and disposal was rarely a concern. Compare this to societies that emphasized hand-washing before prayer, communal eating, and social grooming rituals. White societies just didn't care. White people weren't too refined to eat their boogers. They were too culturally filthy to even notice. Colonial etiquette was built on hidden nastiness. Cleanliness was always performed, not practiced. White colonial powers enforced hygiene rules on colonized peoples, yet many didn't even have running water or soap in their own homes. Underneath layers of lace and powdered faces, boogers were casually picked, wiped under furniture, or quietly consumed. The European obsession with appearance masked the lack of actual body cleanliness and standards for nasal hygiene. Diaries and letters reveal the truth. Private journals, especially among settlers, complain of others' nose-picking habits, rarely out of disgust, but because they didn't share. Colonizers often described indigenous practices of nose cleansing as odd or foreign, while simultaneously never establishing a better alternative. The hypocrisy is clear. White societies judged others for being uncivilized, while quietly chomping down on their own dried mucus. White etiquette has always been a performance. Behind it was nose-digging and quiet munching. Even today, scientific surveys show that a significant portion of adults who pick their nose also eat what they find, and the majority are from white Western cultures. Pediatric studies in white countries show that nose-picking starts early, is rarely corrected, and is often shrugged off by white parents as normal. In contrast, in many non-Western cultures, nose-picking in public is heavily discouraged from an early age and tied to shame or spiritual impurity. Go to any Reddit thread, YouTube comment section, or white lifestyle blog, and you'll find people defending booger eating as natural, harmless, or even beneficial. White pop science outlets have even tried to rebrand the habit as immune boosting, instead of just admitting that it's disgusting. Meanwhile, many global cultures would treat it as a deep violation of personal and communal hygiene. White adults never stopped eating their boogers. They just found ways to justify it. White people have always eaten their boogers. Medieval Europe lacked basic nasal hygiene and treated boogers as ambient. Colonial manners were a lie that hid dirty habits under powdered wigs. Modern white culture tolerates and even defends the behavior well into adulthood. Other cultures developed hygiene systems. White people developed excuses. So next time someone brags about white cleanliness, ask them this. If white people are so refined, why have they spent their entire history casually snacking on nose garbage? Cope.